welcome to the session. Today we will be talking about project management. I can see we have audience from India, Romania, and Egypt. So Buna for Romania and Namaste for India. Assalamu alaikum for Egyptians, and good morning all. I will be with you in this session. My name is محمد Rabia. I'm a technical delivery project manager in Voice Egypt, working with Vodafone UK. I guess all of us are working with Vodafone UK already. So my current role is at Voice or Vodafone. Before that, I was working with another company in the United Kingdom also. It was called Startups Without Borders. We are managing projects related to entrepreneurship and innovation support. Our clients included Meta, Google, GoDaddy, United Nations offices, and others. Before that, I was working with a company in the United Arab Emirates. It was also in the event management field. We were delivering these events to governmental offices or ministries in United Arab Emirates. I was managing several projects or programs spanning the MENA region, like Arab IoT and AI Challenge, Africa IoT and AI Challenge. This included 9 countries, 9 Arab countries, and 7 African countries. I was managing them all from Egypt remotely with the help of project managers in each country. Also, I was managing the global conference on artificial intelligence and Internet of Things. Before that, I was working in the education and training field with Zuwil City for Science and Technology. And I have till now 29 recorded courses on 10 courses platforms, including Coursera. All of you will be familiar with Coursera. This also has other platforms here in Egypt. So 10 platforms in total. I deliver trainings to different places, including the United States Embassy in Egypt, the League of Arab States in Egypt, and others. So I will be with you in this session to introduce you to project management. But before we start, I'd like to know about your expectations from this session. Why did you join this session, or why did you reserve in this session? I'd like to align expectations from the beginning. So feel free to open your mic and tell us what are you expecting from this session. No expectations? What would you like to learn? Why are you applying for a project management session, not something technical in your field or something?
I would say that I'm expecting maybe a day-to-day basis. What would be some how would a day of a project manager look like? Maybe that would be interesting.
Sure. We'll talk about the typical duties of project managers, yeah, and what they do. Yes. Thank you, Irina. What else?
You were asking about why didn't we join a technical course related to our field, but I think project management is related to all fields. It's like oriented or globally oriented field to study and to make research about. And I'm expecting to learn all about the project management plans and components and scopes. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, thank you, Basma. Yeah, I think your answer is also overlapping with Simona's comment that project management is all about our work here in Voice. So we need to be aware of how project management go.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, not just our technical field or the
To be
day-to-day
business
accent. Yeah.
oriented, because you cannot only depend on your technical skills, you want also to develop your business skills as well.
Yes, correct. Thank you so much, Basma.
Welcome.
Uh, Anyone else who would like to participate and share with us their expectations from the session? Okay. Let's start. And if you had any different expectations from what we discussed, or you have any questions or inquiries, please stop me at any time. Don't wait till the end of the session. Keep the conversation going, and I'll be happy to answer any questions in the middle of our discussion. So to start with, let's check our outline for today. I hope this answers the expectations of everybody. We will start from scratch. We will start from the basics by what is the project and what is project management. And then we will check why to be a project manager if you'd like to consider a career shift to this career, and what are the skills that project managers need to have to excel in this area. And then we will talk briefly about the project management career path if you decided to shift to this, how your journey will be. And the focus after that will be with the project management domains and knowledge areas, the activities that a project manager does, so that you can support the project management team you are part of, even if you are a UI UX designer, you are a developer, you are a technical support engineer, you are working in any title, you are within the project realm or the project nature. So you need to be aware of this. So we'll start with what is a project. Before I tell you what is a project, I'd like to play a game with you. So we will check some examples and play it together. What is the classification of these examples? Are they projects or not a project? So I will show you the photo and give you a brief about it. And if you see this is a project, raise hand. If you see this is not a project, click on the haha reaction. Clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, so let the game begin. If we would like to create or develop a mobile application for Vodafone, like My Vodafone or Ana Vodafone or something like this, the creation of the project, the creation of the mobile app, is this a project or not a project? For a project, raise your hand. Not a project, haha, reaction. 12 people think this is a project. Almost everybody, oh, 18 people. Okay, so I will agree with you. This is a project. Let's check another example. Lower your hand before we go to the next one. So after we made this mobile application, if we have customer support, if you go to the offices or the stores of Vodafone to help with anything related to your subscription or something, will this be a project or this is not a project? Customer service agents helping the clients. Okay, Claudia, Basma, Bashir, Helia, Fadi. Oh, almost 7 people think this is not a project. Only Marwan thinks this is a project. So let's see what the slides would tell. They said it is not a project. Let's try another example, and then we can comment on them all at the end. So away from Vodafone services, if we would like to have a network tower.
Sorry to interrupt you. So something
Yes.
you are sharing, but it is not visible to us.
So you can see my screen?
No, for me it is not visible. Others I don't know.
Can anybody confirm?
I can see.
It is visible
is
for us.
visible
It is
for
visible
me.
for
I can
us.
see the picture.
Ah,
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
so Bashir, if you can drop and then log in
Yeah,
again.
I will do it. I will do it.
You
I will
can
do
try
that.
to reconnect.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. I will do that.
Thank you, Bashir. It's a common error with Teams. I don't know why. Okay, So if we found out that there are some complaints about our service in an area or something, that people can't have network on their phones, so we decide to build a network tower for them. Will this be a project, or this is operations, or not a project? What do you think? 7 people, 9 people think this is a project. No one thinks this is not a project. 15. Okay. So it seems we all agree that this is a project. How about our day-to-day maintenance of this tower, and to make sure that it is working properly and no errors with it, no power outage or something? Andrea, Claudia, Sarvan. Okay, 7 people, I guess, saying this is not a project. I don't know if those who are raising their hands, you forgot it up. You forgot to lower your hands, or
No,
you
it's
agree
for the
that this
new
is
one.
okay.
It's for the new one.
Really,
So you
we
think this is a
forgot to
project?
lower our hand.
Yeah. Okay, so Basma thinks this is a project, and also Christina. Okay. The slides doesn't agree with this. The slides say this is not a project. We'll know what this is in a minute or so. Let's take a couple of other examples. No hands are raised now. Okay, so if we are maintaining the solar cells for a hospital or a hotel or an airport, we make regular checks for these solar panels to make sure that they are working properly, no issues with them, they are clear and they are clean. This is a project or not a project? Five people think this is not a project. 6 people. Okay, no one thinks this is a project. Interesting. Okay, so this is not a project. Let's get a step backward and think of the first day when we wanted to install these solar cells in the place, in the company or something. So when we take the measures, when we buy the cells, when we install the cells, this is a project or this is not a project? Interesting. Okay, 9 people think this is a project. Okay, no one thinks this is not a project, so you all agree that this is a project. 13 people, clap for yourself. Yes, this is a project. So let's conclude this with a question. What is the difference between the items under the project column and the items under the not a project column? Please all lower your hand, and if you'd like to participate, you can open your mic or you can raise your hand and share with me your thoughts about this. What makes these examples a project and what makes these examples not a project?
I guess from all the examples that we just have seen, that all the projects include creating something new, but all the not a project include like reviewing something or maintaining something, or like to keep up with something that is already created.
Okay, thank you, Basma. So you're mentioning this, it has a unique outcome. Okay, let's check what Madalena thinks of this.
I think it has a limited time. A project has a limited time and a budget that we need to pick on it.
Okay, limited time and budget. Yes, thank you, Madalena. Let's see what Daniel thinks of this.
Usually the things that aren't a routine or aren't regular.
These are the project stuff, right?
Yes.
Aren't a
things
routine
that
and
aren't a routine, aren't regular. Yes.
Yes, I agree with you, Daniel. Yes, thank you. Let's end with Bashir.
Yeah.
What do you think?
End-to-end execution with the unique result is called as a project, where the regular maintenance and operational activities, maintenance work, that will not define as a non-project.
Yes, exactly. So I have a group of talented and knowledgeable people here, and this makes the session
Thank you.
challenging.
Thank you.
Yeah, you all agreed that the project is a temporary endeavor to create unique product, service, or result. So this is the formal definition of the project as per the PMI, Project Management Institute. This is our reference for anything related to project management. Project Management Institute is the most renowned entity or institute in the field of project management. They are the issuers of the PMP certification, Project Management Professionals, and they are the issuers of the PMBOK, Project Management Body of Knowledge, which has all what we need to know about project management, its methodologies, knowledge areas, domains, and everything. So when we get to refer to any formal definitions or something or theories, so we get back to PMI. So this is the definition from PMI, as you all agreed. It's something temporary. It has an end date before we start it. So if you'd like to start your own business, this is called a business, not a project, because starting a business doesn't have an end. You are planning to have this going on for years. Maybe you would like to have your children and grandchildren running your business. So businesses are different from projects. However, businesses include projects. So Voice or Vodafone, when it started, it was a business, but all of its work is based on projects. So we are in the project nature here. Another point here is the uniqueness. Projects deliver unique outcomes or unique outputs, so they are not doing the same thing repetitively and in a regular basis. Unlike, for example, the examples we have here, so maintenance and following up on the performance of the tower and delivering some customer support services, all of these stuff are not related to projects. These are operations. So to make it more clear or for better understanding of this, let's check with us together what is the difference between operations and projects. If we wanted to think of this, we can summarize this in three main differences. So for the project management has temporary nature. So it ends by the end of the objectives achievements or the delivery of the project objectives. Unlike operations, this is repetitive, this is ongoing. What you do today is what you do tomorrow, is what you do after tomorrow. You will keep doing the same thing now and then and every time. Another thing that might overlap with project management, or another terminology we hear in this area, is product management. So this is a question for you. Would you please help me with the difference between product management and project management? Which of them is bigger or wider than the other? What is the difference between them? What do you think?
The project will come overall. Product is individual entity.
The project is wider than the product, you think, right?
Yes.
Okay, this is Bashir's opinion. Do you agree with him? Do you disagree? By the way, I'm not asking for the right answer. I'm asking for your first
Opinion.
impressions. Yeah, opinions, reflections. We're learning together. So the more I hear from you, the more this directs the conversation and helps us in learning more. So feel free to talk, even if this is not the fully correct answer.
I agree with Bashir
Yeah.
that the project management is wider than the product management. And I guess I'm not quite sure about it, but I guess that the project includes many products,
Okay,
not the
thank.
opposite.
So the project is the wider umbrella. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to like add, I just want to speak my mind. Project is a time bound, as we all can see, but product management, it is a continuous process, continuous feedback we are getting from the market and continuous improvement. So
Okay, so do you agree with Bashir and Basma that the project is wider than the product, or the other way around?
No,
or
no,
what?
no. For me, project is a time bound. You know, we have a time limit, but for product is a continuous process.
Okay, so we have a tie here, Madalena. What do you think?
I agree with Ravi. I think he's spoken last. Yes, I think the product management is a wider area than project. So I believe that a product can be delivered by multiple projects.
Okay, so it is harder now. Two people think product is wider. Two people think project is wider. We need one last person to make the final decision here. What do you think?
I also think the product management is wider than the project.
Product is
Because,
wider.
yeah, product is wider.
And Irina
Because-
agrees with you. Okay. Yeah. So I will agree with you. The product management is a wider umbrella. So the product has several projects to deliver the product. And also, product management has operations management. After we deliver the first increment or the first delivery of the project, we keep following up on the operations for the product management. Let's see this table together. This will clarify the idea better. So for project management, we are concerned with the deliverables. But for product management, this is related to strategy, product roadmap. You know, when we talk about strategy, we refer to something in the long term, on the long run, what we are doing now, what we would like to do in the future, and how we will do it. So it's a long-term plan. So the product manager is always concerned with research and development, checking the customers' feedback, customer reviews, the competitors, not only the local competitors in their country, but also the international competition, direct and indirect competition, and stuff like this. So this is the product management role. And then after the product manager sets the features, the roadmap, the plan he wants to achieve or she wants to achieve, they go to the project manager to execute. So the project managers are executors. They are managing the day-to-day actions to deliver the roadmap or the vision of the product management team. So they are working on work breakdown structure. So they get the big vision and they divide and subdivide it to smaller actions or smaller work packages and assign these work packages to different resources to work on them so that we can finish the growth objective or the upgrade or the bug fixes or all of these stuff that the product manager wants to achieve. So the main task for the project manager is resources coordination, while the product manager wants to make a fit. Someone is saying something? So the main task for the product manager is the product market fit. They want to make a fit between what they are offering and what the market needs or what the end users are asking for. For the project management, we include operational readiness. Since we have a time limited activity or some endeavors that will end by 5 months, by a year or two, 5 years even. So it's a long period. It's 5 years, but it has an end. Before I start, I know when I will end upon the delivery or upon the achievement of some activities. So while I'm working on the project, I plan for the operational readiness. So I will hand over to the operations team to keep running this day and night and delivering this to the end users. But I plan for this while I'm working on the project. So I document everything. I make user manuals. If I need to deliver any trainings to the operations team, I plan this as part of my project. This is the project management. But once I submit my project, the relationship between the project management team and the deliverable or this project ends, and then we move to another project. On the contrary, the product management team continue with the product to make sure it is running properly and it doesn't have any issues, if it needs any maintenance and so on. So this is the difference between project and product management. However, they work hand in hand. No one is superior to the other or senior to the other. We work together, the project manager and the product manager, to deliver the business value for the company at the end. So anyone has any concern about this? Any other thoughts before we continue to another difference between project management and something else?
That's clarified.
Thank you, Bashir. So if it's clear for everybody, show me some thumbs up, some hearts, some clapping. Show me some love. Anything to make sure that you're around.
Always love.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Let's move forward with another difference. Irina, do you have a question or you are supporting? Ah, okay. Thank you. Okay, so let's move to another element that makes some issues for some people, especially when they translate this from English to other languages. When we talk about an entrepreneur, a startup founder, a company executive, CEO, are these people project managers or they do something other than project management? Is there a difference or these are same names for the same roles? What do you think? What is the difference between this?
Entrepreneur will not become a project manager. Entrepreneur will have a big aim to finish his task, but he will take the support of project manager.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you, Bashir. What else? What do you think? Is the entrepreneur or startup founder a project manager or not?
I think that maybe at the beginning he can act like a project manager while raising the business, for example. And
But
then,
after that, they stop?
maybe, I don't know for sure.
Okay. So, Irina thinks the entrepreneur is a temporary project manager, but then he can be working on other stuff. What do you think of what Irina and Bashir
No, if you take that example, everybody is a project manager in their daily life. So they have to plan a proper plan, and to small goals has to be achieved and reach to their success. But same time, when it comes to entrepreneur, the qualities of the project manager is same. Up to one level, he can able to work on that. Then he has to decide who has to done which part and to achieve their goals. So it will be get divided. So he will not take care of entire thing for his entire business or his goal or anything. So he will dependent on different people to
I would
mitigate
say,
the project. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with this, and I would say that we all are project managers by nature. So I deliver another workshop. It is called Project Manage Your Life. So how to implement the knowledge and the science of project management in your life and planning and stuff. But for the concern of our conversation here, I'd like to make it clear that the entrepreneur has several actions or several responsibilities way more than the project manager. We sometimes say the project manager is the CEO of their project, but they are CEOs for their project, limited authority. Unlike the entrepreneur or the CEO or the board of directors or the startup founder, they have other stuff to care about. So they care about the insurance for their employees, hiring and firing, taxes, any bills they pay for their company. They take care of a wider scope of work, unlike project managers who are limited to their project, and they can't even decide whom to work with and whom to fire and whom not to work with. So this is something that we need to keep in mind if you're thinking of starting your business. So the entrepreneur sets the vision while the project manager puts this vision into reality. The entrepreneur is like the product manager thinking long term, while the project manager is thinking of implementation in the short term. And the authority for the project manager, it is limited to the project. For the entrepreneur, it is extended to other functions. Entrepreneurs at the beginning of their companies, they work on everything, from being the doorman or the steward in the company, and to the fundraiser and meeting investors and meeting the regulatory offices and starting their business officially in the country and so on. So they do all roles at the beginning when the company has only 3 or 4 people, and then the company gets bigger and bigger till they have a dedicated project management team and dedicated teams for other functions, and the entrepreneur focuses on more strategic stuff. So this is a quick difference between some areas that overlap with project management to clear this confusion first, and then we can move to what is project management. So we knew what is a project. So when it comes to what is project management, it will be much related to what we discussed. It's more about resources coordination for business benefits realization. We do everything that can help the company be better in their field. They can get more clients, deliver more value. This is the role of project management in companies. When we think of this, we'll see that the nature of this job is, as I mentioned, CEO of your project. The project manager is managing budgets, managing schedules, managing resources, managing risks, managing stakeholders. So they are managing a lot of stuff. So they are the CEO of their projects. However, they are limited to the authority of their projects. They are not CEOs of the company. This is one thing. Another thing is that a project manager needs to be self-directed. They need to be having their own motivation. They are directing other team resources or project team members. So they can't be waiting for higher positions or more senior positions to them to direct them. As a project manager, you are directing the project and the project team, and also directing the people at your client's company. So this needs leadership skills and self-direction or self-discipline, and these qualities for a manager. Another point a project manager needs to consider is being a data-oriented person. It is not about my opinion and your opinion. We have data. Are we on schedule? Are we on budget? Are we overspending? And based on this, we take actions. So we don't have any floor or any area for opinions here. It is as per the book or the charts or the Excel sheets or the results. We move forward with our actions. Lastly is stakeholders engagement and satisfaction. And let me pause here and ask you about what is the meaning of stakeholders. What is the difference between stakeholders and shareholders? Is there a difference? We want to have a new audience or new voices. So Bashir, Irina, Basma, Madalena. So we hear a lot of voices. So we need to hear new people. I think Mai would like to join.
Yes, hello, Rabia, how are you?
Hi, Mai.
Stakeholders are the people in the project who are impacted or being or impacting the project. Being impacted or impacting.
Okay, what about the shareholders?
Shareholders are the people who have shares on the for the project. يعني, I don't know the exact difference, but I know the stakeholders. Who are they? Yeah.
Okay, so they have shares, as you mentioned.
Yeah. Yes.
But
Okay.
they are not shareholders. I think they are stakeholders.
The ones who
hope.
have shares?
Yeah, I think they are also stakeholders.
Okay.
To be honest.
We will see. Okay. Ravi, go ahead.
Yes, that's what I also wanted to add. Shareholder are also, stakeholders, those who are impacting and those who are means those who has influenced over the project. So all are stakeholders,
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what Bashir thinks, and
Bo-
I can share with
both
you
are
my thought.
yeah, both are quite different. A shareholder is a someone who owns stock in your company, while a stakeholder is someone who is impacted by or has a stake in a project or your own working.
Okay, yeah. So I guess you all agree on the definition of both items or both terminology. Stakeholders are anybody related to the project, involved in the project, or impacting the project, or can be impacted by the project. This is the stakeholder, and the shareholder, those who have shares or they have stocks in the company. We can consider that the shareholders are stakeholders. However, for the project management scope of work, we don't integrate much, or we don't interact much with shareholders. So when we mention stakeholders here in the project management scope of discussion, we are referring to the project team, the supporting functions around the project. So if you are integrating with IT team, HR team, finance team, procurement team, these are stakeholders. If you are integrating or interacting with the PMO, project management office, the program manager, the portfolio manager, and all of these people, these are your stakeholders. If you are interacting with the account manager, the customer success manager, the customer success specialist with the client side or from the client side, this is a stakeholder. And lastly, we refer to the government if the project has some updates to legalities and regulations in the country. So this is also a major stakeholder. Shareholders are very major, but as a major stakeholder for the whole company. They sometimes direct the company when they have big stocks or big shares in the company, not just a couple of shares. If they have like 10% or something like that, they can direct the company. Like when the shareholders decided that the CEO of Vodafone is not meeting their objectives and their targets, so he had to step down and stuff like this. So the shareholders there were impacting, but impacting the company, not the projects. We have small projects for our scope of work. This is a big company. It has I guess 115,000 employees all over the world in 25 countries. So the shareholders in Vodafone as a corporate are not related to us as project management team. They are stakeholders for the company, but I agree with you, they can be considered stakeholders in other contexts. So as part of our job nature, we have to engage our stakeholders and keep them satisfied. So what are the typical daily duties for a project manager? We can say a lot of stuff. I can summarize them in like 9 or 10 points. Let's check them together. First thing is monitoring the progress. We need to keep monitoring the progress of the project. So we were planning to deliver this project in a year. So after 6 months, I need to check the progress and make sure that we finished 50% of the project. For example, if this is the plan, maybe you can finish 50% after the seventh month or something. But let's be simple in this example. If it's a year, so after 6 months, I need to make sure that the project finished 50% of the deliverables or something. I need to make sure that we spent only 50% of the budget. I need to make sure that we are on schedule and on budget. This is progress monitoring. This is done typically every day when you check your work breakdown structure or your project plan to make sure you're on track towards the delivery of this project. One other point here is quality and satisfaction. You are always working with the team. As a project manager, you are not responsible for actions or the activities, doing the activities yourself, but you are accountable for everything. You know the difference between responsible and accountable? What is the difference between responsible and accountable?
Accountable is end to end. He has to take the ownership. Responsible in the sense a group of people where he can able to work.
Okay. Thank you, Bashir. Anyone would like to add to what Bashir said? Responsible and accountable. Difference?
Well, in a project, we can have many people responsible, but only one person accountable for the actions.
Okay. So one accountable and multiple responsible.
Yes.
Okay. What do you think? So
Yeah, Sundar. Yeah. So responsible is one who do the task of what needs to be done. Like doing certain jobs, and accountable is like the who's just like who takes the accountability, or how to say, if something not goes correctly of the particular task, like the accountable person should like who holds that particular activity.
Okay. So I guess we agree on this. Sometimes I stop at some terminology because we have different people speaking different languages here, and when we translate this from from English to Romanian or Indian or Arabic, this causes some confusion sometimes. For example, if we translated this in Arabic, they have the same meaning in Arabic. Accountable and responsible are translated to the same word, مسؤول. مسؤول is the meaning of both words. So what is the difference between them? This is the discussion. I guess we have similar incidents like this in Indian language and Romanian language. So let's clarify this. May mentioned accountability is what happens after a situation has occurred. Okay, good one, May. So responsible, the person who is responsible for an activity is the person who does the action, who does the activity, who takes full responsibility of doing the real work on this. Accountable is the manager of this person. So in your team, your line manager is accountable for anything that comes out from your teamwork or all your department deliverables. If something went wrong with this, the top management, for example, come and ask the accountable person, which is your line manager, while you are the one responsible for the action or for the day-to-day activities. So as a project manager, I'm accountable for everything that comes out from my project. Although I'm not doing everything myself, I'm not writing the code, I'm not making the privacy check myself, I'm not making code testing, I'm not making the design of the UX experience. I'm not doing this stuff myself, but I have to have background about these items to follow up on the team and to make sure that they are delivering the stuff as per the OPAs or organization process assets. These are the assets, the intangible assets for the company. We know that for a certain process, we need to do it this way. So as a project manager, I'm accountable to make sure that the team is following the organization process assets or the standard process SOPs, the standard operating procedures, to make sure we are working on the same level of quality for the whole company. Another point a project manager should take care of is team development. By team development here, we mean that if I am a project manager for a team and I found that there are some gaps in their capabilities or their skills, I need to point this out. I need to give a training to them, not myself. I don't have all the capabilities, all the skills, technical and non-technical, but I have to raise this to the people who are responsible for the training. Maybe the L&D team in HR, maybe my management, maybe the project management office, whatever entity that can help with this. I have to raise this to them to deliver the right training and capacity building activities for the team to develop them to be up to scale or up to the level of the project work. So this is one of the actions a project manager needs to take care of. As you can see, these are the actions of a manager because the title has management. It is project management. So as a manager, you are responsible or accountable for everything related to your team. It goes without saying that you are responsible for the budget planning. You plan your budget before you start the project. You know how much you will pay for this project. Definitely, you can't be very sure about this. We call it VROM, very rough order of magnitude. So it has some errors, it has some flexibility, but at least you can give a figure about how much will this project cost. Is it 1 million or 2? Not you can tell me it's 1 million and then I find it's 5 millions. No, we need to be clear about the percentage of error here. So it can be like 25%, 30%, but not 400%. So for the budget planning, I plan my budget. What are the resources that I have in the company? Human resources and machinery, equipment, facilities, anything I need for my project. If I need to procure anything from outside of the company, if I will engage any vendors, how much will this cost? I can have initial quotes from them. If I will buy any licenses for the team, how much will this cost? If I have to pay anything related to regulatory and any stuff related to the country laws or something. So I get to know all of this and put it in one plan as a budget plan. Similarly, we do this with the schedule planning. Any project has a budget and a schedule. So I plan my schedule. You can tell me this will be finished in 8 months, and then you don't finish it until 19 months or 16 months. This is double of the period you promised. So 8 months can be 9 months, can be 10 months, but can't be 20 months. So schedule planning, I plan everything related to the project, what will be done by whom and when. So the deadlines for all activities and who is responsible for what activity, to be following up on them if they missed anything or they missed a deadline or something. So this is schedule planning as part of the project management duties. And here comes an interesting discussion also, issues and risks. What is the difference between issues and risks? And I hope I can hear new voices this time. We have like 26 people and we hear around 6 people only. So I hope anyone can participate with us and share with us what is the difference between issues and risks.
Hey, hi there.
Yeah.
Issues
Go
is
ahead.
something
Yeah.
like, yeah, it has happened before and you can easily predict it. But risk is something like you cannot predict it, but it happens on the go. And it's like once they've recorded, it becomes an issue. So this is my point of view. Maybe
Thank you so much, Sarvana. Yeah, so you think that issues are predictable, but risks are not?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Sarvan. Who else other than Bashir can participate in this? Because Bashir is a willing horse. He always participates. We'll keep him till the last after we hear more people.
Sure, sure. That's why I'm not making noise.
No. Okay. Mai, go ahead.
Okay, if risks are handled properly, it could be an opportunity.
So you mean they can be positive, not only negative?
Yes, yes, unlike the issues.
Issues are always negative?
I guess so, yeah. I don't know exactly.
We'll see. Okay. Basma, what do you think?
Adding to what May have just said, when we like issues are the problems or the challenges, because they may be challenging, not only negative things to occur, but when they happen, they are issues. Risk when we predict an issue to happen, but so far it hasn't occurred.
Okay, so if it happened, it's an issue. If it didn't happen yet, it is
It's
a
a risk.
risk.
A risk that we should take in
Interesting.
consideration.
Okay, thank you, Basma, for this perspective. Bashir, the
Yeah,
floor is
a
yours.
risk, yeah. A risk is something that could occur in the future where the project manager has a certain plan of activities to be mitigated from that risk. But issue is something which has occurs currently and presently. You have to plan for the suitable thing to avoid with that particular issue.
Okay, very good. So as Basma, Bashir, Sarvana, and Mai mentioned, there are similarities between them. Let's clarify them together. First thing is that an issue is always negative. Unlike a risk, it can be positive. So we have positive risks and negative risks. This is one thing. Another thing is that issues are something that already happened. I have to go and fix it right now. I have to pull up my sleeves and get things fixed now. It has a corrective action that needs to be done. While risks, by definition, they are called uncertain events. They are events in the future that are uncertain. They can happen or they cannot. So it doesn't have to be something that is materialized and actualized. So risks are anticipation for the future, while issues are actualized problems, actualized crises that we need to deal with. This is the major difference between issues and risks. Another point is that risks can be positive risks or negative risks. So the negative risks, this is what we all know, and this is what we all think of right away. When we mention risk, we say this is something negative, and we call it threat. On the contrary, we have positive risks, which are called opportunities. So risk by definition is uncertain events. So these events are uncertain. They can happen in the future. As a project manager, I anticipate the future and make plans for the positive risks. I plan for them, how to make use of them, how to exploit them, how to enhance them and make sure that they happen. This is for the positive risks. While for the negative risks, what I do is I plan for mitigation. I plan for avoiding them. I plan for transferring the responsibility of this risk to someone else. I plan for trying to dodge this risk and get away from it. And if it is certain and it will happen, how I will deal with it. So I plan from now for the future. I plan beforehand or before ahead, so that when I come to this risk or the negative risk, this threat, I can be prepared for it. Unlike the issue that suddenly appears in my face. So for risks, this is a proactive approach, not corrective approach like issues. This is pro-action. I try to do things before they happen, or I try to fix things before they occur. This is the difference between issues and risks, and this is part of risk management as part of the knowledge areas for the project. I can share with you a slide to, yeah, this slide can summarize what I mentioned now. So risks may or may not occur, while issues occurred already and realized. So this is always negative for the issue, can be positive or negative for the risk, and this needs prevention or a proactive approach, while issues need resolution or corrective actions now. So is it clear? Anyone has any questions about this? Okay, perfect. Let's move forward. So as a project manager, I manage both. I manage issues and I manage risks. Another point I need to manage or I need to take care of is reporting and documentation. Business is all about documentation. You have to save your back and you have to be documenting everything all the time for multiple reasons. Not only to be saving your conversations and avoiding the negotiations with other team members or other resources from the client side. We said this, no, you didn't say this, we didn't agree on this, no, we did. So what will be the thing that makes the final decision is what we documented via mail, right? So this is how we save time and we save any discussions that are not needed. This is one thing. Another thing for project management is business continuity. Most of the projects, especially here in Vodafone, if you started the project, most probably you will not be the one who will end the project or who will close the project at the end. So when you start the project, keep everything documented, because at some point in time you can have a vacation or an annual leave. You can leave this project to move to another project. You can leave this team to move to another team. You can need any support from anybody, from your manager, from your colleagues, from anybody. So you have to keep everything documented for business continuity. So the work doesn't stop on one person. If this person is not there, the work will stop. No, it doesn't go like this. So we have people around, and we have the documentation for everybody to be on the same page. This is one thing. Another thing related to business continuity, and I can ask you about this and discuss this together before I mention it from my side. So now you faced an issue. As we mentioned now, the issues and risks. You're facing an issue, and you tried to fix this issue by multiple ways or multiple methods. So when you tried the first methodology or the first approach, it didn't go well. It didn't fix the issue. You try the second approach, and also it didn't fix the issue. But when you try the third one, it fixed the issue. So the issue got fixed by the third solution. What should you document in your diary or the project management diary or the documentation for the project? What should you write, and what should you document for the project documentation or the SharePoint for the project?
I guess all of them, all the solutions that I tried. And
All the
point
solutions.
two, yeah, and point two the ones that didn't work out with me, and highlight the one that did work.
But this is a lot of work.
Maybe
Can't
for
we can't
my
we document
colleagues
the third
to
one?
have like a guide to follow. I was thinking of it from that perspective.
Okay, a guide for others. This is
Yeah,
very
exactly.
kind of you.
To avoid like going through some ways and instead doing something else.
Okay, you're a nice person. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, Fatma, what do you think?
From my point of view, I have the same point of view of Basma, that we have to save to document the three approach, just to have the same guide to know what's the approach that work with us and the one that not.
Okay, interesting.
To know the
So
outline.
we have very nice people here. Okay, anyone else would like to participate before I give the mic to Bashir? Yes,
I
Madeline.
think we need to document the lesson learned from our experience.
Lessons learned. Yes. This is the terminology I was going to mention. Thank you, Madeline. Bashir, go ahead.
Yeah, same way. If it is documented with the previous projects or same type of the situation, we can able to refer and come with that a span of time to mitigate that issue.
Exactly. Perfect. So we all agreed on this, and thank you for this discussion. Usually, I don't get these responses from people, and they think we need only to mention the solution and that's it. But what you mentioned is the project management mindset. This is how a project manager thinks. A project manager here is not working alone. You're not working solely. You are working as part of a PMO, a project management office. You have other colleagues. You have project managers, associate project managers, project coordinators, and you have program managers and portfolio managers. You will forget, I will forget, she will forget, everybody will forget. But when we document things here, this makes it easier for us first. When I document something, I help myself first because I get involved in multiple projects. As a project manager, you don't manage one project, you manage multiple projects at the same time. So if you face this issue today and you fix it, a month later, if you face this issue in another project, you might not be able to remember the ways you tried and why they didn't work and stuff like this. So when you document this, you help yourself first. This is one thing. Another thing is that, as we mentioned, projects are unique. The uniqueness of the projects comes from different aspects. Each project has different attributions, has different variables, has a lot of things that can change this project. So if you're implementing the same solution or the same product with different clients, for example, we have a unified communications solutions that we sell to different companies. We sell it to ExxonMobil, Total, the German Navy. We sell it to Google. We sell it to different companies. You would think that this product, anytime I implement it, I go through the same steps. No, there are different variations here. How many people are involved in the project? Who are the team members? If you will make the full implementation of the product or you will make some customization for the client. Is the client cooperative or not? How many resources are assigned from the client? If this project is done in on premises offline or it is managed online, there are several attributions that can change the nature of the project, and so that each project is unique in itself. So maybe the solution I tried for my project that didn't work, it might work with another project in another context. So when I document the failed methodology or the approach that didn't fix my issue or my problem, I mention also why it didn't work with my project, because these reasons might be the perfect match for another project. Either this project will be managed by me or by another team member or another project manager. So documentation is a life-saving activity we do as project managers to help ourselves, to help our project management office and our colleagues, and also business continuity. Last thing here before we take a break is the resources planning. Resources here means everything. Resources are human resources. Resources are machinery and equipment. For example, the basic example here, if we are developing a mobile application that will be working on iOS and Android, so we need to have these two devices with the team to test, not just on a simulator, but they have an Android device and an iPhone or iOS device to test. So are these resources available or not? They must be available for multiple teams. So I need to go to the resources manager or the facilities manager or the one who's responsible for assigning these resources, these two devices, to the teams to book these devices for my team. For example, this is a very basic example. If we are working in something related to data science or big data, so we need a lab, a laboratory, or a workstation that can process the data. This can be working for days. For example, if you are processing the data for the whole employees, all employees in Vodafone, this can run for 4 days, 8 days, or something like this. So you need to reserve this lab or this workstation or this processing unit from the facilities management team. So this is a resource you need to coordinate or you need to allocate for your project. I'm not just talking about the human resources. This is by default when we mention resources, we think of human resources, but now I'm giving emphasis on other resources you need. Not to mention that you need to secure the budget or the funds for your project to go forward. So these are the resources planning and resources allocation and resources coordination for your project. This was a glimpse of the daily duties for a project manager and what they do in their work. Let's take a small break. It's 7 past now, so let's come after. So my time is 11 7. I don't know the time difference between us all, so let's come when it is my time after 10 minutes. Let's come after 10 minutes. So let's come after at 11:20. My time 11:20. I guess for others that will be 12:20. For people in India, 3 hours and a half difference. So calculate it. Let's come after 13 minutes. I will start after 13 minutes right away, inshallah. See you.
Thank you.
Knock, knock.
Yes, I'm here.
Are you there?
Are here.
Yes, we are here.
Yeah, we are here.
Perfect. Okay. Let's move forward. I guess you're saying you're here, right? Or you have a question? Oh,
No, we are
okay.
just confirming that we are here.
Yeah.
I'm just confirming that I'm here.
Yes.
Nothing
Thank you, Fred.
else. You're welcome.
Okay. So we discussed the daily duties. This daily duties starts with a major action we need to take care of. I mentioned it during my discussion with you earlier, but let's give it more focus here, which is work breakdown structure. Instead of having this big vision or big objective or big deliverable, we need to deliver to the company or the client or the management or whatever stakeholder that will be receiving this from us. We cannot work on this deliverable right away with this big responsibility or pulling it like this guy. So we divided and also subdivide till the manageable actions or manageable components that we can assign to a person or a team to work on, and we can progress this and we can follow up on this as we go. This is if we are working in the waterfall methodology. This is also called the traditional methodology. On the contrary, we have another methodology called agile management or agile approach. We can discuss this in a later discussion or in a later session. We have in June dedicated to agile management. But in a glimpse, this is related to being agile, being incremental, iterative. So you work on sprints, not working for the full target in the same methodology or in the same plan. So we have sprint for 2 weeks or 3 weeks to deliver a small increment, and then we move forward. So in this methodology, in agile management methodology, we call this thing, this WBS, we call it backlog, where we have all the features or the user stories, all the use cases we need to develop or create in one backlog, and we reprioritize this backlog as we go. Unlike the WBS, we create it once. We usually don't edit it. We work on towards the deliverable right away. The backlog is very dynamic, and we update it regularly after each sprint. So this is what a project manager does and how their daily duties or daily work goes. I'd like to share with you why to be a project manager. For me, I made a career shift myself. So I was a nanotechnology engineer, and then I left engineering and I moved to project management. Maybe this is the case for a lot of other people in our team and in the project management field in general. So I would like to share with you some reasons about this movement. Maybe you can consider it. First thing is the ability to work in different fields. All businesses need project management. All businesses want to have project managers. If you are talking about the public sector, the private sector, the non-governmental organizations, or the civic work field, all of them need project management. If you will be working in telecommunications or IT, like voice or Vodafone, if you will be working in renewable energy, in education, in event management, in marketing, in whatever field or industry you think of, they have project management. If you are working in whatever department, sales department, marketing department, procurement, finance, HR, whatever department, they implement project management in their field. So whatever the industry, construction, oil and gas, IT, whatever service, business services that they are offering, they need project managers. So if you shifted to this career or you move to this career, you have plenty of opportunities you can pursue. Another thing which is common with other fields also is the ability for working remotely, and this gives you international exposure, same as we all do here in Voice. We have people from different countries and joining the same team. So this is in the IT sector much, but in other sectors, if you are not there yourself offline on premises, you can do the job. But for project management, you can remotely manage different teams. One of the reasons I like myself much is the boredom. No boredom in project management. It's all about new challenges all the time. As we mentioned, project management is unique. So the same project, the same service, the same product you're implementing with a new company or a new client, you're facing totally new challenges you need to work with. You are facing new stakeholders, new personalities. You are always in new challenges and new work environments, not like the operations guys. If they are working in operations, so they are doing the same job every now and then. To give an example of this, we can talk about a factory. If you are in a factory and this factory is selling chips or selling the potatoes, you know, the chips, if they need to make a new flavor for this this product or the what they are selling, so they have multiple projects from different teams, and then the operations teams take over. So the R&D team makes some research and development on the best taste that the country wants to have. Would they like to have chips with shrimps, or chips with macaroni flavor, or chips with whatever flavor or taste? This is the R&D team. When they finish this project, they move to another project or another research and development on another field in the factory. For example, it can be process improvement. Then the team for marketing start building the brands and building the designs, and if they will make any commercials on TV, on billboards, or whatever. And then they finish this and move to another product that needs to have some marketing activities. Moving forward, we go to the engineering team that builds the line of business or the machines that will be making this product. After they finish this, they can go to other technical activities or engineering activities they need to fix, and so on. Different teams are working or contributing to this big project as per their specialty. After they finish all of this, they deliver this to the operations team that will be taking care of this day-to-day production. Every day they produce like 20,000 boxes of these chips. Today they made these 20,000 boxes, tomorrow 20,000 boxes, after tomorrow 20,000 boxes. They are doing the same thing all over again. Unlike the other teams that work on this project, deliver it, and work on another project, and so on. I hope this analogy is going well or working properly with you. So project management doesn't have boredom. Another thing is that you are making a difference on a wider scale. You're not just managing a small task. You are managing different people who are doing different tasks. So you are having bigger contribution to the project or the company you are working on. And you are the CEO of your project, as we mentioned, with less responsibility. I used to have my own company in the training field, and I found this is a big hustle. I'm responsible for salaries at the end of the month. So I'm responsible for a lot of stuff. I decided to move from being a startup founder or a training company manager or owner, and I joined the corporate life to be CEO on a smaller scale, but I secure my salary at the end of the month. I don't care about this much, unlike the CEOs. So this is also an example. If you'd like to get back to the driver chair or to be the CEO, so project management is a step on the career ladder to reach the top management titles. As part of our team, we have people who joined Voice as customer service agents, and now they are portfolio managers. This is senior to project managers. So moving to the project management field, when they moved from customer service agents to project management, they could have better career hierarchy, and they are managers of me now. And this is something very good about Vodafone. They don't care about your bachelor degree or your education background or your study. Whatever you'd like to pursue, you can pursue it here in such a company. in the team has engineers, has people from arts and languages faculty. We even have a sailor or a captain, a ship captain as part of our team. We have people who are graduated from law, from commerce, from tourism, from different fields and different backgrounds. But project management is away from the educational background. We call it field agnostic, so it doesn't care about your background. One last thing is the money. I know you don't care much about money, and this is a secondary thing for you, so I will pass this right away. But if you care, project management field has good salaries. It is above average for other teams also. So if you'd like to consider if this move, I'm sure you will be rewarded with a better salary. So if you agreed with me, or I could convince you that the project management field is a very good one, I'd like to share with you the skills needed for this field. So I'd like to ask you about this first before I tell you from my perspective. So what are the skills needed for a project manager? What are the main domains that a project manager needs to have, the main skills domains? What do you think?
Communication skills.
Communication skills, negotiation skills, very well organized, I would say.
Okay, very good
Technical
example.
skills.
To know how to lead people, to be a leader.
Yes, leadership. Madelina, you were mentioning something?
Technical skills and maybe problem solving.
Okay, very good ones. Yes. Ravi, what do you think?
Yes, like communication skills, leadership skills, negotiation, problem solving, conflict management, all those skills a project manager must have.
Okay, very good. Bashir, what do you think?
So missing one I can able to tell, that is adaptability and critical management, critical thinking and critical management.
A very good one. Okay, what else do you think, guys? What other skills you think a project manager needs? All what you mentioned is perfect, but do you have any other inputs in this?
Team management skills, maybe I missed.
Yeah, leadership and team management.
Leadership,
Very
yeah,
good.
okay,
Yeah.
both are same, yeah.
You mentioned it. Okay, so all what you mentioned is very good. If someone has all of these skills, I guess this person would be a superhero. So we all hope we can have these skills. But let me share with you the skills that the Project Management Institute thinks you should have. So they divided these skills into three main domains. The first domain is the process management skills. This is what we call the hard skills. You know, there is a saying that tells us that hard skills gets you the job, soft skills keeps you in the job. So these are the hard skills for a project manager. They need to know how to manage the process, how to manage the project itself, the knowledge areas, the attributions of the project, how to manage different tasks, how to learn about risk management, resource management, stakeholders management, procurement management, quality management. These are the technical skills a project manager needs to have. On the other side, we have what is called people management skills. And you can say this is harder ones, managing tasks, this is easy, and tasks can be organized and can be instructed, and they behave well. But for people, this is not easy to deal with. Human nature, people have different motivations, different things that push them forward, different interests, different aspirations. So managing people is a hard one. But to be a project manager, you have to have people management skills. People management skills is what you all mentioned about the skills a project manager needs to have, like communication skills, presentation skills, leadership skills, negotiation skills, delegation skills, anything related to the soft skills part. These are the two main aspects of the project management skills, or the project management domains of skills. Moving forward, we can also mention business environment. Strategic business and knowing how things work and knowing what different departments contribute to your project, how your project is affecting the whole project, the whole company or the whole project management office work. This is called project management environment, or the business environment, or we also call it business acumen, the acumen of understanding how things work around you. These are the three main domains, or the three main buckets of skills a project manager needs to have, as per the Project Management Institute. The Project Management Institute also added something to this. They told us each bucket or each part of this has a weight. What percentage do you think each bucket of these or each domain of these should be weighted by for a project manager? You can write in the comments if you like, or you can say it in the mic, whatever you like. So these domains, how would you distribute them? Would you distribute them evenly? So 30% and 30% and 30%, or 1/3 for each skill? Or you would give higher weights to some domains? What do you think?
Business environmental is 50, process and people are 25-25.
Okay, Bashir is given the business environment the highest weight, which is 50. Let's check the comments also here. Ravi is giving 40 for process and 30 for people and 30 for business environment. Simona, business environment is the lowest. It takes only 20 and people 40 and process 40. Interesting. What do you think? Which is the most important? Can one of them take like 70% or something? Or this is too much? Fadi is saying 40 for the process, 30 for people, and 30 for business environment. Okay, so I think this is the most controversial question we had this session. Other questions we had most of the votes going to a certain side, but I will make this clear for you. So if a project manager had these three domains of skills, they would be a superhero, and we all aspire to be this superhero with the red cape because we're in Vodafone. But let's check the distribution of these skills. This is the distribution as per the Project Management Institute. I think this is disappointing for most of you, but let's discuss why this is done like this. The process takes 50%. As we mentioned, hard skills is what gets you the job. And the other 50% is almost for people. Because as a project manager, you spend more than 90% of your time in communication. Communicating with your customer, with your team, with your management, with the other stakeholders in government or in other companies or the supplier or third parties. You are communicating all the time. Face-to-face meetings, online meetings, reports and dashboards and proposals and business documents you share with your stakeholders. This is all about communication. And a minimal part is directed to the business environment, which is only 8%. Why? While the business environment is very important, our business is affected by the war in Ukraine and Russia, the hunger in different areas of the world, the shortage of microchips, because this is blocking the work for other technical products or stuff. So having awareness about the business environment, how work is being done, importing and exporting goods and stuff, this is very important for your project. Yes, but as we mentioned, you are the CEO of your project. You're not the CEO of the company. If we are talking about these skills for top managers, yes, the business environment would be higher. It wouldn't take only 8%. It would take a higher percentage, and it would take this percentage from the process part. because you are managing people and you are aware of the business environment. The day-to-day work is done by your team, and the higher you go in hierarchy, the low technical activities you do and the more management skills you need. So for us as project managers, we need to have awareness about the business environment and the business acumen around us, but we don't have much contribution to this, so it is only 8%. Interestingly, here we didn't mention anything related to the technical experience in whatever industry you are working in. If you are working in the healthcare industry, we didn't mention here healthcare. If you are working in education, we didn't mention education. If you are working in Vodafone as a telecom operator or business services and intelligent solutions, we didn't mention anything technical here. Because as I mentioned, you are a project manager, you are the maestro of the orchestra. This maestro doesn't know how to play on all of these instruments. All of these musical equipment are not familiar to him to play on them. They are familiar to him to know the voices that comes from each or the sound that come from each equipment, but he can't play on the piano, on the org, on the all of these elements. He can't play on all of them, but he is directing all of these people. This is your role as a project manager. You don't have to have extensive knowledge in each field, but surely you need to have adequate knowledge or background about the industry you are working in and the field you are managing the project in. If you decided to move forward and go to the project management field, here you are the typical career path you would expect. You would join first as a PMO or a project management officer, project management specialist, project coordinator. You stay here for 1 year or 1 year and a half, and then you move forward to the associate project manager role or assistant project manager, where you stay here for 1 year or 1 year and a half. Combining these two titles, you have to stay there for 3 years. It differs if you can stay 1 year here, 2 years here, or 2 years here and 1 year here. This is different, but it's okay. At the end, you have to be familiar with the project management field for 3 years before you hold the title of project manager. It's a manager role, so you need to have familiarity with the business first. When you come to this step as a project manager, you stay here for like 2 years or 3 years, and then you become a senior project manager. And then you move after 2 or 3 years in this role, you can move to program manager role after like 4 or 5 years, or yeah, 4 years is good. You can be a senior program manager and then portfolio manager and then project management office manager. So this is the typical hierarchy for the roles in project management. However, you don't have to have these titles only. You can have other titles like account manager, account executive, account specialist, customer success officer, customer success specialist, customer success manager, operations coordinator, operations manager. This overlaps with the project management a little, and then you can move to the project management fully. You move from the operations side to the project management side. But this is the typical approach for this. Whatever step you are in, maybe now you spent like 4 or 5 years of professional experience already. You don't have to start as a coordinator. You can join as an associate, or you can move as a project manager if you got enough knowledge or you got enough experience about this. This experience can come from education. So for learning resources, I will be sharing with you the learning plan I made for the L&D department and project management. I will be sharing this with you. It incorporates all the free resources that Vodafone gives to us from LinkedIn Learning and from Orly and from different resources. And it includes courses, online videos, or books for those who would like to read books. So I will be sharing this with you. This is my YouTube channel. but all the courses there or the videos there are in Arabic because I'm targeting the Arabic-speaking world, the Gulf region or the Middle East. So I guess it won't be a good match for Romania and India, but learning paths on LinkedIn Learning, it is in English. I will be sharing with you the full plan. It has like I guess 30 hours of training or online courses. I'll be sharing it on the chat of this invite after the call. And for the books, I would recommend Project Management Body of Knowledge. This is produced by the Project Management Institute, and it has all what you need to know about project management. Moving forward to the skills. If anybody has any question at any time, please stop me. Don't wait till I ask if you have questions. You can stop me at any time. Are we good to go? Show me some thumbs up. Are we okay to move forward? Yeah. Thank you. Perfect. I guess some people might be next to their machines now. Okay. So we will move forward with the project management skills or domains. The project management institutes, the project management institute changes the names of these skills every now and then. So before it was called process, now it is called ways of working. Before it was called people management or leadership skills, now it is called power skills. Before it was called business environment or strategic business management, now it is called business acumen, and they keep moving forward with the new terminology or the new inputs, new the future work trend now. So this is the latest update for them. It matches what we mentioned earlier. Ways of working is the process, power skills is the people management, business acumen is the business environment we talked about. So let's start with power skills. As we mentioned that you spend 90% of your work as a project manager, you spend 90% of your work in communication. So you have to take care of these items. Projects are done by people and for people. So the more you are competent in people management, the more your work will be highlighted and your role as a project manager would be elevated, and you have better authority on your project and better contribution to your project. People management is harder than project management, so you have to make sure you're providing a comfortable workplace, and this increases the productivity of your team. And life is already hard, so let's not make it harder on our teams. Let's try to learn more about people management and how to manage people or how to lead a team. This makes life easier for everybody. So let's start with this. The first thing here is to know you are responsible for the development of your team. As we mentioned, if they need any skills, you need to provide them with training on this. One other point is the team building that happens for your team. So as a project manager, you need to be aware of this approach or this journey. Can anyone share with me what they think of this chart? This chart is referring to the team building activities or the team formation. What do you think of this chart? What does it tell us? What is your first impression of it?
Your achievement depending upon team performance and team effectiveness using with the different part of your team. So either it is divided in a proper way to achieve your performance statically, or in a bar diagram it is representing.
Okay, good one. Shahinaz, you wanted to say something? Okay. We have other people, we didn't hear their voices at all. Carol, Claudia, Hind, Luminita, Mihela. What do you think, guys? Or girls, because most of what I mentioned are girls. So what do you think? What does this chart tell us? Any initial thoughts? Oh, yeah, Madeline.
I think there are some stages until the team passes, until it reaches the higher performing status, I think.
Yeah. Yes, this is what happens for real. So, as we mentioned, projects are temporary. So, what happens when this temporary time ends? All resources or human resources go back to their teams. So, when you start a project, you get assigned some resources from each team. For example, you get an IT specialist from the IT team, you get a tester from the testing team, you get a privacy, someone for privacy approvals from the privacy team, you get someone from the security team, you get someone from the integration team, and so on. So these resources come together for like a year or a year and a half, whatever the length of the project timeline. And after the project ends, everyone goes back to their functional manager or their team or so on. So the team starts with forming. And after we get together, we have different points of view, we have different opinions. So we have different ways of working, we have different thoughts about how things should be done. Everyone was working in a way. Some people use different tools. Someone is using Jira, another one is using Azure DevOps, someone else is using Trello or Kanban boards. Everyone used to have a certain way of work. So when we come together, we go to the storming step. So the team effectiveness goes down because we are fighting all the time. We don't have agreement on how things should go. And after this storming, the waters come clearer and they come homogeneous, and we reach the norming step. So as norming, this is a clear sea or a quiet sea. You know, everything is going well. We agreed on everything and we reach the consensus on everything we need to care about, and then we go to the performing step. So as a project manager, you need to be aware of this. You need to make some ice-breaking activities. You need to get people to know each other, to know their experience. So the first meetings or the kickoff meetings should have some discussions about what each team member is doing in their life, in their daily activities, and everything related to their work, so that they can gain some trust from other team members. Because at the beginning, I doubt your capability, you doubt my competence. So this is normal between people. This is our human nature. Unfortunately, this is what happens. So you need to clarify these items a little before we go forward. We help in this as project managers. We capitalize on the psychological safety in our workplace. Vodafone pays much attention about diversity, inclusion, and psychological safety. This helps a lot in moving a little quick from the storming phase to the norming phase. So as a project manager, you need to be aware that part of your duties is easing this movement from the initial steps from forming till storming and then norming. You should care about the work-life balance about for your team. So as part of your plan, don't condense the activities in one month and then the other months you're not paying much activities there. Keep a work-life balance. If the project is not going well and we have to work overtime, this is the responsibility of the project manager. The project manager didn't plan the project well, didn't ask for enough resources to cover this work, didn't plan the activities and their dependencies, and made wrong assumptions. So as a project manager, you need to take care of the work-life balance of your team, because this keeps the employee retention, this reduces the turnover of the employees, and all of the things that affect your project management or affects your project delivery. And also communications, as we mentioned, we are communicating all the time with the team and with stakeholders outside of our team. You mentioned also the skills of conflict resolution, because In the storming phase, there must be conflicts. In the project management with suppliers and vendors and third parties, there will be conflicts. In your discussions with the client, there will be conflict. How will you fix these conflicts, and how will you ease the conversations? These hard conversations should go smooth with your team in order not to lose them for good. Part of the conflict resolution also is the team coaching and motivation. Different people have different motivators. Look forward to understand their intrinsic motivations. Motivation doesn't have to be only through money, especially if as a project manager you can't control how much they get paid. You can't even control how much you yourself get paid. So you can control this by giving credit, appreciation to their activities. Everyone who feels appreciated would always do more than expected. So give them credit. We always say that project managers are the last to eat. You are the last person to eat on the table because you are caring about catering for the needs of your team before you cater for your own needs. Like a mother cares about her children to give them and feed them and take care of them. She sometimes forgets to eat herself. So this is the role of a project manager: motivate your people, make appraisals and evaluation of their performance. If you can put a good word for them with your managers or their functional managers, the teams they are coming from, do this, and this helps a lot with their sense of ownership towards the project and sense of accomplishment, because the success of the project is a shared responsibility between us all, not only for the project manager. So this helps a lot. Moving forward to another bucket of skills, which is business acumen. As we mentioned, this takes only 8% of the weights of project manager's skill set. This refers to the subject matter expertise in the field you are working in. As I mentioned, we have people from different backgrounds and different educational certifications, but they all share a minimal understanding of what we are doing here. What is the roles you are dealing with? Business analyst, solution architect, product owner, scrum master, agile coach. What are these people doing in the project? When we talk about the solution architect, what is meant by the solution architecture? What is the difference between front end and back end? What is the difference between APIs and SDKs? What is the difference between monolithic architecture and microservices? These are some terminology you need to have to ease your discussions and negotiations with the team members, the stakeholders, the management, the clients, and so on. You need to have some industry awareness about your field, benchmarking about your competitors, internal competitors in your local country or international competitors. You need to know about the indirect competitors in your field, what they are doing better than what you do, so that you can capitalize on your strengths and make sure that you are exceeding them or in this competition and so on. Again, this is the responsibility of the top management. You as a project manager don't have much contribution to this, but the more you know about this, the more this can direct your project better, and this can ease your life in the project management work you are taking care of. And finally, how different departments work and how they contribute to the success of your project. The last item of the skill set of the project manager is the technical project management, or ways of working, or the process management. This is what we will spend our next hour together in. This is the ways of working. This is divided into 10 knowledge areas and 5 process groups. Let's start with the 10 knowledge areas. As a project manager, you have these knowledge areas or project attributes or project sides. These are the things you need to take care of while managing your project, planning your project, and taking or paying much attention to these aspects of your project. Not all projects have these 10 knowledge areas. Some of them have only 6, some of them have only 4 or something. This depends on the complexity of your project. Let's start with them one by one and talk briefly about what we need to take care about in each aspect of them. First, the scope. Scope is the constraints of our work. This is what we need to deliver in the project. This is the deliverables, the achievements, the milestones, what we need to work on throughout the project. And most importantly here, not only what we need to work on, but also what we do not need to work on, the exclusions, what is out of scope. Because we need to agree first on what is our scope, and as per this scope, how much budget we need and how much time we need. So we need to make it very clear from the beginning, what are we delivering to the client or the customer at the end. Don't leave it to assumptions or expectations. You are delivering a new solution for HR management. It's an HR management system for a company. What are the modules included in this HR management system? Does it include resourcing, talent acquisition, learning and development, payroll, employee relations? What are the modules in this system? Because if I said HR management system, the client would guess, okay, it has 12 modules, all the tasks an HR manager would do, while they are paying only for 5 modules. So I need to make this clear from the beginning. We are delivering only these 5 modules. If you would like to have the 12 modules, okay, we can do this. But we need to agree on the budget, and we need to agree on the deadlines and the timeline of the delivery. So agree from the beginning on the scope. The scope doesn't only have the modules, but also if you will deliver a catalog or a manual for how to use this solution. Will you deliver training or not? Will you have how many licenses you will provide? Will you provide them with 15 licenses for 15 users? Or they need, for example, 40 users or 40 licenses? How many licenses should be mentioned? So mention everything about the scope. This makes you avoid all the hustle of negotiations. And you said, I expected, you meant I knew this from another vendor or another service provider. He promised me of this. Why don't you deliver the same? I don't I don't care about what he promised you. This is another company. So we make it clear what are we delivering and what are we not delivering. This is the scope. After we agree on the scope, we move to the schedule. This is the big bulk we need to deliver. We subdivide it to smaller chunks that we can deliver on increments, or deliver regularly on timestamps or some time slots we agree on. We create the work breakdown structure to assign the tasks to task owners, because if the task is owned by everybody, nobody will do it. The shared responsibility of the task is destroying this, because if I think you will do it, so I will not do it. If you think I will do it, you will not do it, so the task will not be done. So we make the schedule, and we agree with all the teams on the responsibilities and their tasks and the activities they are to deliver, and when they need to deliver it. We agree here on the responsible and the accountable resources. Responsible is the one who will do it. Accountable is the one who would be asked if this responsible resource didn't do it. This is the manager or something. The schedule is done with the support of the project team. As a project manager, I'm not a technical expert. I'm not an engineering manager. I'm not an infrastructure manager. I'm not a developer. So I don't know how much time is needed for this task to be done. I don't know the prerequisites for this task before I move to this task. What other tasks I need to finish first? So I have to involve the project team to share with me these dependencies, these assumptions, the estimation of work needed for each item. As a project manager, I need to make sure that they are not fooling me in this, because some developers or some resources, for example, they need to have a loose deadline. So he or she would tell you, okay, this module will take, for example, a month. while you know that it will not take a full month. It might take like 3 weeks only. So as a project manager, you challenge them for this. You agree with them. But we had this module for another project before, and it took us only 3 weeks, not a full month. Why this is different? Okay, so they can tell you this one has some further features or some more integrations or some. You negotiate with them on the schedule estimations. This is part of your responsibility as a project manager. You don't just take the estimations from the team and that's it. Challenge them, talk to them, make sure that based on your background or your experience, no matter how minimal it is, but you need to be on top of everything in your project. So this is for the schedule. When we move forward to the cost, so all the activities we mentioned in the work breakdown structure or the schedule, they have cost. If you are buying something from a procurement company or a vendor or something, this has a cost. The team I have, the resources I have, for example, I have 9 people, I have 15 people. What are the salaries of these people and how much they would charge the project? So you don't know their salaries for sure or for as exact numbers, but you have like a virtual account, virtual bank account for the project to know the exact hours for this team, these team members, how much hours they charge it for this project or how much hours they work it for this project, so that we can make a cost benefit analysis for the project. Was it a profitable one or not? We report this to the finance team and so on. If we need to procure any licenses or anything from the vendors, if we need to pay for anything we will rent for some time or anything we will buy for the project, all of these should be included in your budget plan from day one. You know how much you need for this project to be fully delivered and to meet the objectives of this project. While we are mentioning the resources, we come again to the resources part. This includes manpower, monetary resources, machinery and equipment, facilities, as we discussed earlier. And if you are missing any resources, you should work on the procurement of these resources. Procurement doesn't mean you buy this and own this. It can be renting, it can be leasing, it can be whatever approach. You can hire freelancers or project-based employees to deliver parts of your project. So whatever you need to do for the project deliverables to be achieved, you can do this. When you talk about procurement, this adds new stakeholders for the game. So we had certain number of stakeholders, and now we are adding an extra supplier or extra vendor or service provider or someone. So this is an extra stakeholder I need to take care of. Stakeholders need communication. In communication, I need to balance between transparency and privacy. I need to be transparent with the team, with all the updates they need to know. But some actions or some items of the project plan needs to be private. Not all stakeholders need to know this. So the team needs to be on top of everything. But some other team members or other departments or other teams, they shouldn't know about everything we're working on related to privacy. So from day one, when we join Vodafone, we have these courses about privacy and security and stuff. So we need to balance between these two items, privacy and transparency. And communication and decide who will know what through which means of communication, to what extent of details, the frequency of communication with this stakeholder or this resource. So if I'm talking to top management, I can't give them a report for 15 pages. They just need a graph, an infograph explaining the progress of the project. Have we achieved the milestone we are expecting in this month or not? Are we on budget? Are we on schedule or not? And stuff like this. While the team needs to know everything, so I give them the full report of 15 pages pages with all the details they need to know. The frequency of communicating with the top management would be less. I can give them like a weekly status report, WSR, weekly status report, or a monthly status report. Unlike the team, we have daily stand-up calls or daily scrum calls to be on top of everything. So this is about the communication management and how you plan this. And you have all of this as a register or a document where you have all the stakeholders, their names, their roles, their emails, the next actions you need to follow up on with them, and so on and so forth. Now we are moving to the risk. We agreed that the risk is an uncertain event. It can be positive or it can be negative. And how I plan for this, the risk responses, I plan beforehand so that I shouldn't be surprised. No matter how competent you are as a project manager and as a risk manager, and no matter how thorough your project management plan or risk management plan is, we always get surprised with new risks and new issues facing us in our projects. But we do our best and expect the worst before it happens. One other item is the quality management. And here I'd like to ask you about what is the difference between quality assurance and quality control? What do you think? This is one of the items we talk about in quality management. What do you think is the difference? I hope I can hear new voices. They can raise their hands or something. Marwan and Ziad, and anybody who would like to participate with us. Yes, go ahead, Marwan.
Okay, so I think quality assurance is more of a proactive approach. We take certain measures or certain steps beforehand in order to make sure that we keep to a certain standard that our business needs, for example. While quality control is while we're doing the business or the project or whatever, we make sure that what we're producing is adhering to the quality assurance policies that we set beforehand. Yeah.
Okay, very good explanation of this. Anyone else would like to add something to what Marwan said before Bashir takes the mic? They agreed that you would say the answer, Bashir. Go ahead.
Yeah, quality assurance is related to how the process is performed or how a product is made. So it is totally depending on that. But whereas quality control is more the inspection aspect of the quality management.
Very good. Yes, this agrees with what Marwan said. So quality control is the inspection of what we planned for in the quality assurance. So assurance comes before control. Quality assurance, we can say it is quality planning, and then quality control is making sure that the actualized product is abiding by the plan or moving forward with the plan. So quality assurance, it is a proactive approach, while quality control, it is a corrective approach. Quality assurance takes place earlier in the project to set the KPIs, the quality metrics we want to measure, and how we will measure it, and when should we measure it, and who will be responsible for this measurement. So this is all about quality assurance. And then during the project work comes the quality control. In general, in business, we say control, we can remove it and put compare. Anytime you see the word control, you can replace it with compare in the scope of discussion in business. So this helps you understand what control is in business management in general. So this is comparison. So I need to compare between two items. These two items are the plan and the reality, the plan and what we already did. So this is all about the quality assurance and quality control. So quality assurance, it is preventive approach, while quality control is the identification of defects. this is proactive, and this is reactive or corrective. And this is process-based. Quality assurance is caring about the process, while the quality control is about the product, the end product that came out. So this is verifying the quality, while this is managing the quality. As a project manager, I need to be aware of this. I need to be aware of the quality assurance from the beginning of the project while I'm planning for the project, and involve the quality team on this. And throughout the execution of the project, I take care of the control. So this was the last item here, and then we go to the integration. As you can see, any change in any knowledge area of these ones will reflect a change in another knowledge area. So if the scope changed, this will add more activities, so the schedule will change, and this will add further costs, and these costs need to be approved, or I get a budget approval from stakeholders, so I need to use communications, and there is a risk that they wouldn't agree on the new budget or the new costs, so I need to have a proactive approach on this risk. If the scope increase, so I need to add new resources. This will incur new procurement processes or raising new purchase orders, and I need to follow up on the vendors' submissions and the goods receiving from them, and that they are adhering with the quality. So whatever I change in any of these knowledge areas, I need to take care of integration, because it reflects in other knowledge areas. This is the story of the project manager, the life story of the project manager. You are taking care of all of these items at the same time. How you do this task or this job? We go forward with the process groups. This is the project management life cycle. The life cycle goes through these steps, and each step has some processes. We call them process groups. First, we start with project initiating, where we agree on the scope. We set the risk register. We have the initial risks for the project. We have also the stakeholders register, where we add all the stakeholders we know about they are involved in the project, so that we can engage them regularly and we agree with them on the scope. After having these stakeholders, we have the project charter. This is like a contract between the team and each other, and also between the team and the client. This is different from the official contract the team, the company has with the client. So the official contract has legality and legal affairs, and it has the financial penalties for the project and stuff like this. While the project charter, it is not called a contract, it is called a charter, because it's a simpler form of the contract. It only focuses on the scope of the project, any assumptions, any dependencies, any constraints, some stuff related to the delivery, not the legal affairs of the project and the company and its client. So this happens in the initiating phase. After we agree on the scope, we start the planning. We make the work breakdown structure. We have the budget and the schedule for the project, any resources that need to be assigned, and how will we acquire them. Will they be in source, or will they be outsourced or offshored, and stuff like this. After we finish the plan, we spend most of our time in the executing part. This executing takes all the time, takes all the financials, takes all the energy of the team. And then we go to closing the project at the end. This closure means documenting everything we did in the project, any presentations, any reports, any lessons learned, as we mentioned about documentation. And as you can see, I mentioned 4 items only, while these are 5, because this one, monitoring and controlling, this shouldn't be a step that comes at the 4th stage. This is a governance activity, or a governing phase on the whole project, from initiating till closing. We are monitoring and controlling the whole activity of the project from day one. We make sure that everything we're doing is abiding by the OPAs of the company. the organization process assets, or the SOPs, the standard operating procedures, the knowledge base, how things are done. For example, here in Vodafone, we have VBDL, Vodafone Project Delivery Life Cycle. This is the full life cycle we all follow here in Vodafone. In this life cycle, you have in the initiating phase, you need to finish, for example, the demand request document. This demand request document has some criteria. You give it to the business team or the customer. The customer fills this document. They need to only mention their business needs, not technical needs. They mention the requirements from the business aspect, and the business analysis team and the project management team takes care of transferring or translating these business requirements into technical requirements. So this is the SOPs for initiating, for example. After that, we have in the planning, we have the shaping document. This is the responsibility of the business analyst. And this is the template of the shaping document. And it needs to clarify 1, 2, 3. So the monitoring and controlling phase is not coming after execution. This is coming from day one in the project till we close the project. It is about controlling. We control the plan against the actual, or the activities of the project against the OPAs or the SOPs of the company, or the knowledge base of the company. This is the full process of the project management life cycle. Any question about the project management life cycle or the 10 knowledge areas so far? Anything you would like to clarify? Thank you, Basma. All is good. Thank you, Sarvana. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. طيب. So we can move forward with the first item here, which is initiating. Let's recap what we mentioned here or what we discussed here, and we will go forward with the project management life cycle. The project management life cycle starts with initiating, which is scope definition and requirements gathering, and sometimes we call it requirements elicitation, because the client doesn't know what they need. They come to you and say, okay, I have, for example, a group of hospitals or a group of restaurants or a group of hotels, and I want to make digital transformation for this series of hotels. Okay, what exactly do you need? I don't know. I see other series of hotels, they make digital transformation. I want to increase my profits and cut my expenses. This is the brief you get from the client. So you sit with them in requirements gathering meetings and understand their business requirements. What are the processes that needs improvement or that can be digitally transformed and so on. So this is the first phase, scope definition, to agree on what we will deliver, because digital transformation for your business is a big item or a big scope. What do you need exactly? So this is the first item we have, which is scope definition. Again, when I say you sit with them as a project manager, you don't do this yourself. You have the project team, you have the business analyst, you have the solution architect, you have the product owner, whomever who should be included in this conversation. They come to you with to sit with the client. Maybe this includes people from the sales team, the pre-sales team, and so on. After you get the requirements, you make your analysis, planning, design, whatever you need to do before you move forward with execution and implementation. And throughout this life cycle, we have monitoring and controlling and testing and making sure everything is going well. And then we close the project by submitting the deliverables to the client. We see this as this graph, because we call it waterfall approach. It's like a waterfall. The water only falls from top to down. It doesn't go up again. It doesn't go from down to up. So in this waterfall approach, we do the initiating activities or initiating processes once at the beginning of the project to collect the requirements. And then we close this page and we move to planning all the requirements we got. So we collected the requirements in 3 weeks. We planned them in 6 weeks. And then we execute them in a year. And then we close the project. So this is the whole timeline of the project. But business is very dynamic. Requirements change. New competitors can join the same industry of your client, and the client needs to change something in the requirements they shared with you. What should be done in this case? What happens in the waterfall approach? We have a change management process where we submit a change request and then we change the project charter or the scope of the project and then plan it and then execute it. But this is a little stiff. This is a little has some friction. So we have another approach which is called agile management. This is flexible management. This is adapting to change. This is starting with the change in mind. So everything is built dynamically, is built flexibly, can be changed or updated or edited easily. So this is the agile management approach. And also we have a hybrid approach which merges between waterfall approach and agile approach. And this is what we do here in Vodafone most of the time. We either go hybrid or we go with agile. Does this mean that waterfall is a shame? Not at all. We sometimes use waterfall because waterfall was the core of the evolved approach or the changed approach, which is agile, and then the hybrid approach that merges both of them. So it's okay to say I'm working in a waterfall approach. This is not something to be ashamed of. This is not something you need to hide. No, we're working in waterfall. We implement this with the change in mind. We take the essence of the agile management or the mentality or the philosophy of agile management, and then things goes very well, and everything went properly since ages, and it will continue for ages. So it doesn't have to have full agile delivery. As we agreed in initiating, we define the project scope and deliverables and also the exclusions, and we define the stakeholders in the project. We need to ask ourselves some questions at the beginning to understand what we're doing in this project. So why we are starting this project? Is it for increasing profits or cutting losses or just increasing our market share, or this is for branding, or this is for whatever reason? Having the why, so as Simon Sinek says, start with the why. When we have the reason why we started this project, this directs all the project activities or all the project decisions going forward. So this is something you need to ask for yourself, to ask for your client, to know what motivates them to start this project, to ask your top management this question and understand what is going forward and why we need this project. After that, we ask about the scope, the deliverables, and the milestones. We need also to ask about the timeline. When should we deliver? Are there any major events we need to consider? Like if there are some holidays we need to consider. If there is a conference where the top management team in Vodafone will present this project. For example, when we made the eSIM or when we made the green SIM, I don't recall its name now. It is something related to sustainability and green economy, changing our SIM cards and stuff. If we are participating in the COP conference, which is related to the climate change conference and stuff like this. If we are delivering something in this scope, so we have to abide by this deadline. This is a real deadline. So the line after which we're dead. So it is a real deadline we need to take care of. If we need to consider that the team has people from different countries, so I need to know the holidays and bank holidays for each country to plan my resources and stuff like this. I need to ask about this from the beginning. I need to know what are the KPIs I will be measured against, or what are the metrics I need to follow. Who are my main stakeholders that I need to engage regularly. I need also to know how much I can spend. What is the allocated budget for this project? Are there any knowledge bases or lessons learned from other projects that I can read in order not to reinvent the wheel? We can forget about the last lessons learned or the last pitfalls we had. So we will repeat them again. So let's make new mistakes. So review the lessons learned and make new mistakes other than repeating the same mistakes over and over again. And ask about any risks that the client might expect, the top management might expect. Ask for help. You get what you ask for. So ask for help all the time. It doesn't belittle you or something. The more you ask, the more you get, the more you understand the scope of your project, and the more your performance would be better or would be honed during this journey. And finally, we ask about any prerequisites or dependencies between activities or between my project and other projects and so on. These are a lot of questions. To gather them, we have the project charter I mentioned to you earlier. So this is a sample or a template for the project charter, where we mention the project purpose, like when we asked the client, what do you need? And he said, okay, I need digital transformation for my restaurant series. So this is the scope. This is the purpose. And then we take it into further details as scope. So we have the deliverables and the out of scope items. If there are any technical requirements, resources requirements, process requirements, we discuss them. The initial risks, any uncertain event we have, any constraints in budget and schedule, for example, if we need to work with a certain like a certain technology or a certain tool, or follow a certain GDPR policy. So these are constraints. If there are any dependencies between the activities or the projects as part of a wider program. If there are any assumptions we made. So we assumed that there will not be high inflation rates. There will be a shortage of supplies in terms of microchips or something. Any assumptions we had for the project, we write this. And then we have the timeline and budget. What are the main milestones and work packages for the project or stuff like this. So we have this rough estimate before we go further with planning later ahead, and the KPIs or success criteria, and then we sign this. The project initiator, project sponsor, and project manager, and all of these people agree on this, starting from project purpose, scope, requirements, and so on. Any questions so far? All is good? Perfect. Okay. Having the project charter ready, we move with the next action, which is the planning phase. We take all what we gathered in this project charter, or the answers we collected or had for the project questions. We move with planning. Planning gets all of these stuff in more details. We create the work breakdown structure by dividing and subdividing the scope or the wider vision into manageable components. We estimate everything needed for the project in terms of budget, resources, timelines, any procurements, anything that we will need for the project. We ask for it in this phase to plan for our quality and quality assurance, and to plan for the risks or anticipated actions that we might need. Here we need to have a team-wide alignment for the whole project. So this helps us in moving forward with the project when we have this WBS. this is a document where we all come together to check. So this is an example of the WBS. We have the task title, and we have the task owner, the start date and end date, and the duration for each task. And we follow up on these tasks regularly to check how much we achieved or how much we finished from these tasks every now and then. So this is the work breakdown structure, or an example of it. You can do it on project management tools like Microsoft Project or Primavera or whatever tool you are using. Different markets and voice are using different tools. So this is the WBS. And then in execution, we execute all what we planned for. So we engage the stakeholders, and we take time for quality management and process improvement also, and document everything we learned throughout the process. We move forward with monitoring and controlling activities. This is for the corrective and preventive actions. And last, we reach the closing phase, which is submitting all the deliverables and getting all waivers or sign-offs we need for the project. We document everything, any templates, any reports, anything that will help other project managers or would help you in having similar projects in the future. And you settle any conflicts between the team members or between you and the contracts or the contractors or the suppliers and stuff like this. And you make sure that you handed over everything to the operation team, because the operation team needs to know about what they will be working on. This was our discussion today. I enjoyed this time with you. So I hope you got a glimpse of what project management does and how it goes. We have other 2 sessions in project management. This session was called Project Management Foundation. Thank you so much for the hearts and emojis. Thank you. We had this foundation. And then we also have another session called Project Management in Practice, where we go through the 10 knowledge areas, what we do in scope, what we do in schedule, what we do in budget and resources and quality in more details. And then we have a dedicated session to Agile Project Management, where we go through the Agile Manifesto, Agile Principles, Agile Values, and we study Scrum Framework as one of the frameworks on the Agile methodologies or Agile frameworks. This is all about our journey. Should you have any questions, you can reach me on Teams. I'm one message away. You can schedule a call if you'd like. I will be sharing with you the recording of this session, the slides, the learning path, or the other resources you can use from LinkedIn Learning, Orly, and other resources. And that's it from my side. Thank you all, and happy rest of the day.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you.
The same to
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Ravi.
Have a nice
Thanks
day.
a lot, Ravi.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice day. Bye.